and welcome to The One Show with Alex Jones
and Angelica Bell. Now, tonight's guests once presented a show in which three middle-aged men drove all sorts of cars around the world, but they've moved on, apparently.
Yeah, the new show, The Grand Tour, has an opening sequence that makes Pirates of the Caribbean look like an episode of Bargain Hunt.
Indeed, and with that in mind, we are throwing every single penny we can at this.
Please welcome Richard Hammond and James May.
Somebody thought this was funny, didn't they?
Very funny.
This is quality. This is...
Are you just going to bring it on set?
No, I like it now. You built it. You want us in it? We'll be in it.
All right, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. But this is the brilliant thing about this. It's collapsible.
Was this by any chance a budget thing? I know it was, because they said to us when are you coming on? They said, they said, oh yeah, we'd like to, because you know you've got like a big budget.
It was just like
we haven't, so this is it.
It was a welcome back to the BBC, to be honest.
Thank you
Keeping
very
it simple,
much.
you know.
You've ruined
nice to see you.
It's a very funny joke, though, in case anybody didn't get it.
Oh, don't be like that. Now, your new show, The Grand Tour.
Should we stay in this now?
Well, if you want to.
I just
Are you
feel it's getting
comfortable?
in the way.
Just stay in it now.
It looks good, to be honest.
It does.
Yeah,
okay, we'll stay with it.
Well, you're here because of your new show, The Grand Tour, and it's all top secret because your employers want to sell their subscriptions. But we do have an exclusive. We do have an exclusive sequence to show you all later.
Listen, boys, we should rubbish it, right? Because we know that the BBC have a rival car show, but it's really difficult because it's good, which is annoying.
Very annoying.
Thank you.
Annoying.
A Team Rickshaw also burning rubber too.
Well, Andy and I are sending you this message at about 3 o'clock, and it's at that time of day where we have to try and work out whether or not we're going to make it for the live programme. We've got just over 25 miles to go, Andy, and 4 hours.
Right.
So, what do we think? What do we think? I mean, seriously, what do we think?
It's going to be a push, but we'll get there. I think. We'll go for it anyway.
Join us later, Al. Find out what the situation is.
Yes, yes, Skegness awaits. We've heard it's nice out of season.
What are you doing?
We've had a terrible accident.
You're just going to rip it.
We need to be cat-free of this
we're
car.
repairing it, yeah.
Well, you've got to carry on. We're going to have a film. Well, with James and Richard's new deal with Amazon, it means that they don't have to worry about their pensions unduly.
But they should stay clear of charlatans offering them bogus advice if they don't want to lose their money. Sadly, many older men have discovered that too late.
The city, home of high finance and low con men who rent offices in a bid to convince us they're bona fide investment firms. And they know exactly who they're targeting. It's men aged around 65. They now make up more than 3/4 of all investment fraud victims. Men like retired salesman Colin Smith from Birkenhead.
Hello, Dan.
Colin. He inherited money and was looking to invest it for his daughter and grandson's future. That's when a cold call came out of the blue from a city-based firm offering an investment opportunity in diamonds.
We all get dodgy sounding cold calls, but what made these sound convincing?
They were very, very professional in their attitude over the phone. The knowledge of the product. They said, do you realise you can make 30, 40, 50% profit on the margins? It was so convincing.
Over 14 months, Colin made several payments to the company and was sent paperwork showing he was making a profit. But he didn't take it at face value.
I happened to say to them, can I come down and see you in your office in London? Well, it wasn't. It was a meeting place outside a railway station. And then after that, they took me to a reception area where I had all little offices. I thought, this isn't right. I got back on the train and I said, I've been scammed here.
Just weeks later, the police confirmed the company was indeed fake.
So how much in total have you lost?
I've lost roughly about £500,000. It's just a staggering amount. I'm in rented property now. I haven't got much of a pension. I can just about survive, literally.
Sadly, Colin is just one of more than 3,000 victims of investment fraudsters last year. They're known as boiler room scams, with teams of con men making high-pressure sales calls day in, day out from rented offices. Detective Superintendent Maria Woodall says there's been a 10% rise in the number of victims of investment scams in the past year, with a staggering £75 million stolen.
Why is it blokes in their mid-60s are being targeted?
The man of the household in that generation normally looks after the finances. For some years now, savings have only been attracting a 1% interest rates in banks and building societies. They're having to find other ways of trying to get an income, which means they're more vulnerable to go for some of these schemes than they have been in the past.
And the way in for most scammers is that first cold call.
You've got to trust me here. That extra £2,500
This footage, seized by the police, was filmed by the fraudsters themselves. It shows them teaming up to convince their victim to hand over thousands of pounds in a fake investment deal.
As a last trade, that would be full and final, sir.
They're laughing at the victim as well.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
And people need to wake up and think, no, I don't want my parents going through this. So we want, families to make sure that their relatives are looking out for these sorts of scams.
Some campaigners are calling on the government to act by banning all investment firms from making cold calls. And they've got the backing of former Pensions Minister Baroness Altman.
If we make cold calling illegal, even if it doesn't stop all the cold calling, then at least the public will have a much clearer idea that you shouldn't engage with these people. If somebody calls you, they are out to steal your money, just hang up.
If investment cold calls were illegal, then Colin would probably still have his £500,000 in the bank.
I know I can't be the only person in the country being scammed. There's thousands of us. There must be a law somewhere or technology to help us to get rid of these types of people.
Oh, well, Joe, Colin looks understandably very, very upset there. How typical is this case, though?
Well, sadly, more and more typical, particularly men like Colin of a certain age. And that's partly due to pension changes last year, because people can now draw down large sums from their pensions, which means they have cash in their pockets, which means they are particularly juicy targets. And if you do think you've been scammed at any point, then obviously do report it to Action Fraud.
But if you do get a call, how do you know if a company is dodgy or not?
Well, one thing you could do is go on the Financial Conduct Authority website, and I happen to have that handily over here on a plasma screen. And they have a warning list tool, which essentially is a list of dodgy companies, and you can check out if the company that's approached you is on that list. So you can fill out a few details. How did you find out about this investment? In Colin's case, it was the telephone. What's the investment? It was diamonds with Colin. Did they mention your pension? Yes. You go through to a warning page, and then you can search for the company name. Now, maybe the company's on that dodgy list. Of course, if it is, walk away.
Yeah.
But that's not an exclusive list. So if the company isn't on there, still be very suspicious, be cautious, think about it. Were you cold called? If you were, alarm bells should be going off. Do they say it's exclusive just for you, don't tell anyone else? Do they say, do it quickly? Is it time pressured? And also, is it just too good to be true? If they're promising huge returns, then, it probably is too good to be true.
And is there any way at all that people like Colin will get their money back?
Sadly,
no.
It's very, very unlikely. And that's why it's so important to be really vigilant. Very, very few people ever see any money again. Very few scammers are even caught. So that's why you've got to be really careful. All the information is up on the One Show website, so do take a look and be aware.
Brilliant. Cheers,
Thank you so much for that, Joe. Alex, if only we had a couple of middle-aged men sat with us right now.
Leave it.
With money burning a hole in their pocket.
Leave that right there.
Be perfect. Have you actually made
I'm middle-aged. I'm 46. I'm not middle-aged.
I'm middle-aged
We're all
as well.
middle-aged.
When is middle-aged? Define middle-aged first of all.
You're not middle-aged.
Have you made any bad investments? Not about pensions, but have you made any seriously, thrown loads of cash at something and has
James obviously has made a
Yeah, I've made quite a
terrible
few bad investments. Unfortunately, none of it was very expensive. So, no, not really.
I've never made a good investment.
No,
I keep all of my money in a sack in the shed, all of it.
What about being cold called?
Amazon?
Well, I can't be cold because I'm not going to go to the shed and get the money out of the sack, am I?
No, I mean, like, have you had
rang
a
up.
call, someone saying, look, we can give you an investment or invest in us?
Not that I know of.
I've had a lot of those.
Have you?
What I've had recently that keeps coming up a lot is a company, and at times they've rung me 3 times a day where they've said, oh, we've rung you about the accident you've had in your car.
Oh, yes.
And they've got the registration number right, but there's a few mistakes, like it's a car I don't own anymore, and I hadn't had an accident.
Well, just hang
in it,
up
which,
then.
That's all I do.
When you've got that many cars, the chances are...
How many have I got?
I imagine quite a few, don't you?
It's an assumption. That is a gross assumption.
I'm sorry.
So far they've said we've got loads of cars, we're old, we've got money burning a hole in our pocket.
Welcome back.
Listen, let's talk
You made
about...
us go in your cardboard car. To the BBC, dance, Muppets, dance!
Let's talk about the
Yes.
new series,
Yes,
yeah? We'll
all
move
right.
it on.
Yes. No, you've
Grand
been very
Tour.
nice about it.
Started on Friday. Now, apparently, it's very, very different to the show that you used to be on. Let's see.
How are you going to get it on there?
It's going to jump.
Oh, yeah, they're big jumpers, Cal.
Look, you see, it wants to.
He's limbering up, he's getting ready, you can tell.
Up you come.
It's not going to jump. They can't jump.
Up you come. Game of Thrones, sir.
Look at that thing now! Bloody Laura.
Interesting. I hadn't really thought of it, but now you've mentioned it, you're right, it is completely different.
Totally. I mean, can you see what I mean?
But you do have a big tent.
Sorry? No, it's sitting like this.
I knew that was going to go there.
Come on. Yes,
I gave
we
you
do
that.
have a massive tent, I know.
And it travels, which is a new... That's
a new thing.
That's
Yeah.
sort of what tents
Yeah,
tend
that's
to
the
do.
point.
though,
Yes,
don't
yes,
they?
of course, but the show travels.
Yeah, and
the
it
show
gave,
travels.
it gave us a unique thing. I mean, had we ever done a show before together, which we never did.
No.
But had we done it, had
Yeah.
it been in a single studio, we needed some differences.
Yeah.
And this was a way of taking it out to the people that watch. And one of the things about the show that we never did, but if we had done, would have been its global appeal, and it's something that mattered to us. And
Yeah.
this was a way of going out and connecting by taking the whole thing to them. So we got back from Germany just now. and
yesterday.
Nashville again at the end of this week, because we're exotic and travel a lot.
And you could say that in the old days, had we had a show, as Hammond says, that the world came to us to watch it, but now we've sort of returned the favour and we've gone to the world.
We're with it.
Deep was that?
You ran out then.
Well, I tell you what was interesting, because obviously nobody's seen any clips yet, so watching the audience faces was quite telling then. It was positive,
noises.
by
Yeah,
the way. It was good, it was good.
Can we have a shot of the audience faces?
Look,
just
they
to
look at
confirm
that.
that?
Actually, they're ecstatic.
In
Some
all
of them have
seriousness,
fainted.
though,
It's that good.
how nervous were you about getting back as a trio? Did you think the magic would still be there? Are you nervous about Friday?
Oh, well, that's a multiple question.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't nervous about us getting back together because
Okay.
it all seemed horribly familiar.
It's all we can do.
But I'm speaking for myself. I'm very nervous about Friday because.
Are you really?
Well, yeah, because
we all
I
are.
mean, it's a new show, and any show
It's
you
a
do
big
is
deal,
a-
and
Yes.
also because, you know, in the past we sort of evolved to where we'd got, and that was, had we ever done a show together, that's what it was. This time we've gone out and we've thought about it. Hopefully people will follow us and find us, and when they do that, we want to reward them
And
with the best.
expectation is high.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everyone's
let's face
talking about it.
Yeah,
I know,
expectations
that's
high,
really scary, but
and
we
we're
can't...
burdened with humility.
Yeah, we are naturally humble men.
Yeah, clearly.
What we couldn't do was, you know, we can't radically reinvent ourselves, and
No.
people like certain things from us and expect it. We had to deliver that, but we have to refresh it. We had to renew it, reinvigorate it. Hopefully we have, but we won't know until after Friday.
Well,
We're waiting to find out.
anticipation is high, and we've got an exclusive clip from the second episode that we can all see, and there's no sign of boys with their toys ready.
So how delighted are the three of you that you don't have to answer to the BBC complaints department this time round?
there will
Does it
still
make it
be...
easier?
We never did we?
They're not really.
No, you never did. That is true, James.
No, it's one of those adverts with the dusty complaints telephone. No, there'll still be. We still have to get stuff. We still don't want to offend people. We'll have to. We'll ignore it.
I'm fairly confident
Ignore
Amazon will complain if they feel they have to.
Yes.
Yes.
But James, you were under a lot of pressure to stick with the BBC and Top Gear. Do you think you made the right decision to leave?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah?
Well,
Well,
no,
I mean,
in all
we
seriousness,
can't- Yeah,
I mean, in the end, the point I've always, the way I've always explained it is there's, to a certain extent, this is going to sound fantastically sanctimonious, but the three of us had a sort of duty to stick together and do it because that's what people wanted to see.
Yeah.
A lot of people in TV and media forget that their first responsibility is to their viewers and their fans. And it also meant that the other show that we were never on, that we've never heard of, could be properly reinvented, which, to be brutally honest, it probably needed. So.
Plus,
the world
we
ends
are.
up with two shows. So
There's
what's
no
wrong with
doubt. I
that?
think. Look at you. We've all done. I've worked for the BBC for 27 years, 28 years, on and off. More off at the moment than on. but who knows? We had to look at what else have we done that's ever been massive, that's ever been on anything like the scale of what happens when we work together. We're more than the sum of our parts, and we must remember to include Andy Willman, our producer, in that, who's the worst dressed, worst turned out human being in the world, but a uniquely talented man and very much essential to what we do. So,
but if you're outside that window, you'd buy him a coffee, wouldn't you? Probably.
Yeah, well, you'd put a coin in the hat.
And I do still work for the BBC a bit.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And you know,
how do you think all that got swept before we came in?
People will be calling for Series 2, I'm sure, as soon as it hits people's tellies, stroke computers, whatever, on Friday.
There will be a
Are
Series
you going to
2.
stick with the other guy? You sticking? You sticking?
He who shall not be named.
I don't think we have the option to fire him.
Right, OK.
Do we?
So you're sticking.
Would you like accidents? I don't know. There's all sorts of stairs in our office.
No, not particularly.
No. Hey, it looks like it's going well. So when's this on? Because we know it's Friday.
It arrives Friday. Well, Friday, whenever Friday begins, I don't know. That's for Amazon to decide. But it becomes available
You
on
wouldn't have
Friday.
this at the BBC, would you?
Yeah, we know what time.
But this really matters to us that we're delivering them on a weekly basis. They become available from that time. So hopefully people will...
So you're just drawing this out.
Make their
you're
own
just drawing
appointment
this out. It's Friday.
to get to it on Friday at a particular time for them. But it's available
We leave it
Friday.
vague.
It's not scheduled. It's the modern world. It becomes available.
Yes, we get it. We get it. Thank you both for your company.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for the humiliating car stunt.
All right, pleasure anytime.
Really good.
You can watch the Grand Tour from Friday on Amazon Prime. Now, Matt and Team Rickshaw are in the middle of their own Grand Tour, and they're on day 5.
Matt, how's everyone holding up in Skegness? Matt, how's everyone holding up in Skegness?
Well, holding up very well indeed. I am here, Team Rickshaw here, which is proof that, yes, Team Rickshaw have made it to Skegness. Look at these happy faces. Look at all these lovely happy faces. And aptly poised beneath the statue of the Jolly Fisherman, which has been the symbol of Skegness for the last 108 years. But listen, even the Jolly Fisherman was looking a little bit apprehensive a few hours ago, wondering whether or not we would make it in time for the Live One show. This has been the longest route of this year's Rickshaw Challenge. Here's what's been happening over the last 69.4 miles. See you later.
We've all got up ridiculously early, as today we have our furthest distance to travel. And Andy is at the helm.
As we leave Hull city centre, ahead of us is a route of 69 and a little bit miles, and we're going to spend about 14 hours in the saddle today.
But even with all those miles to cover, we just have to make a quick stop to catch up with some of Team Rickshaw's greatest supporters, my grandpa and Grand Sheila.
Isn't it lovely? Isn't it lovely, this? So we couldn't come to Hull and not call in?
No.
Of course.
We've been listening for the alarm going. We set the alarm ready.
And they're not the only early risers bearing gifts.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
We've found you and we've managed to give you some money
Bless
without going over the Humber Bridge.
Well, thanks for your support.
But with little time to waste, Salar was given the task of taking the rickshaw over what was once the longest suspension bridge in the world, the Humber Bridge. Over 2 whopping kilometres of it. The next few miles are down to Phoebe. She lost her dad, Andrew, when he collapsed at home in Derby 3 years ago. And Children in Need has been helping her through it.
A year after Dad died, I started coming home from school really tired. I'd just go straight to bed. So Mum took me to the doctors and they figured out that I didn't know how to grieve properly. I always think, what if we found him earlier? Like, could we have saved him? It's hard because it's like, on my wedding day, who's going to be the one now to give me away? It's things like that that I sometimes think about. Because I don't really like getting upset in front of people.
So just to say those things, it just makes it that little bit easier.
Yeah. Getting upset now.
Of course. Let's just slow down a little bit.
That is hard.
Listen, you're doing everything you can. And he'll be looking down and he'll be so proud of you. And you're doing it in exactly the way that he would want you to do it. Aren't you? If you think about it like that.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can I take a picture?
Thank you, yeah. You know, people's generosity is humbling. I mean, you know, we're out in the middle of nowhere. And there's a family there, they've just handed me a cheque for £100. And just such a lovely letter of encouragement as well. And this is the thing with the Rickshaw Challenge. People are just touched by it. Because you can't help but make comparisons between your life and the lives of our young riders here. And it makes people want to give, and it makes people want to show their support. Oh, what have we got in here? What's in here?
It's a cheque from the council.
Oh, can we open it? Look at this. Oh, it's lots of goodies in there. Thank you very much indeed. And you've got something wonderful as well. £250. Look at that. Thank you very much indeed, everybody.
You guys are all so brave for saying what you do in the way that you say it and getting the message across of all the challenges that you face in your life. And Phoebe, I know from the miles that we've cycled together that one of the friends that you really confide in is your horse, Hero. And I know, having spoken to your mum as well, that it was a big deal for your dad to manage to get everything together in order to buy you that horse. And that was one of the last gifts that he gave you. And you said to me that that horse is in good hands while you're here, yeah?
Yes, definitely.
And I said to you, yeah, I know. Didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, this is the reason I know, because if you just look at this screen down here, just have a look.
I'd heard so much about this amazing pony called Hero that I thought I'd come and meet her for myself. But the other good thing about coming here is I can hear from everybody how proud they are of you and the progress you're making in what is a really, really difficult challenge. And your dad would be so proud of you as well. But once you finish the Rickshaw Challenge, there is a much more comfortable saddle waiting for you here, and Hero will finally cheer up, because you'll be home, won't you? Are you missing her?
And Claire told me she'd give him a full shampoo as well, she would her. She's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah? Well done. Well, listen, earlier on, we give Ebony control of the cameras, and Ebony used it to tell all of you how you can show your support. All of you.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Action!
To donate £5, text the word TEAM to
70485.
Very good. To donate £10, text the word TEAM to
70410.
Those texts will cost your donation plus your standard network message charge, and all of your donation will go to BBC Children in Need. You must be 16 or over, and please do ask for the bill pays permission. For full terms and conditions, or to donate online, go to bbc.co.uk/Pudsey. And Ebony, what would you like to say to all of those who have already donated?
Thank you for donating, it means a lot.
Thank you all, each and every one of you. Now, very shortly, Salah will be cycling the rickshaw here into Skegness, and let me tell you, Salah is just the best timekeeper going. Aram, you're here, his brother, to welcome him, as is the rest of the family. We've got Mum Nala, we've got Dad Salim, and brothers and sisters too. Aram, what do you think it means to Salah to be part of this team?
Well, I personally think it's going to be great for him. He always wanted to do something great, something that he would like, and I know deep inside Salah is really happy now. And of course, this rickshaw challenge will change a lot of his life.
Yeah. Mum, Dad, brothers and sisters, do you want to see your brother cycle this rickshaw in? You do, don't you? OK, here we go. Let's welcome him in. Here comes Salah at the end of day 5. So here he comes, welcomed in by the local RNLI crew. We've got the Gemma Sutton Theatre School here as well. There you are, in your you go, family. He's all yours. Oh, isn't that just absolutely wonderful? We've got sisters Rosal and Sarah here as well. We're going to let them have the most wonderful, wonderful family time. I tell you what, Salah is just the nicest bloke going. He really is. He's a brilliant, brilliant cycling partner. Now it's speech time, everyone. It's speech time. And it's your turn, Olivia. And listen, we sent Olivia to the scariest chair in Britain.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Mastermind with a very special guest. And your name is?
Olivia Fresson.
Your occupation?
Schoolgirls.
Your specialist subject?
For Rickshaw Challenge.
Your time starts now.
I was born to deaf, but thanks to cooking plans at the age of 2.5, I have some hearing. I'm sighing today because my parents are here and the full family deaf. Although I have some hearing, with a lot of background of noise, it's really struggle to understand what people are saying. Sometimes people thought I was mute and ignoring them, but I'm not mute, I am deaf. Sometimes I'm with my family or friends. I notice other people staring at our sign language, talk about us and laughing about us, but it's not funny because it's our life. That action helped me become more confident as the person, able to see that I can follow in my dream. I'm doing the Rickshaw Challenge because I want to show that deaf people can do everything as they put mind to. No one should let out because they're just deaf. Also, I know what Saturday can make different offer. So we donate if you can't. Your kindness can make you good difference. And thank you.
No pauses, Olivia. You got it all right. Good luck with the Rickshaw Challenge. Well done, and thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, Olivia, which chair was comfier? The Mastermind chair or the rickshaw saddle?
Mine's not mind.
Oh, really? OK. Good. Well, listen, you need to rest those legs because we've got more miles to do tomorrow. But listen, let me just say something, because here we are now at the end of day 5. And I always get emotional when I look at these faces, these lovely faces that are giving everything that they can so that other children get the support that they have. Because in a way, these kind of are the lucky ones, because they're not asking for your money right now. They are the product of the support of the projects that they have received. And there are so many children out there right now who are relying on your generosity and who are relying on your support so that they can make a real go of the situation that they are in right now. So please, if you can, donate. And this lot are doing it as best they can on this enormous bike ride. Here's the route for tomorrow. Just have a quick look. We've got all 59.8 miles. We're only climbing 387 feet tomorrow. We've done over 2,000 today. You guys are absolutely rocking this place. Look, Kings Lynn tomorrow night. We're going to be at the Custom House if you can get there. Tomorrow night on the One Show, it's Sarah Milliken and Sting. Hey, we've got the playlist sorted out for tomorrow night. See ya!